Morning. It is Tuesday, July 3. How about that? 2012. Tuesday, July 3, 2012. It's been a busy morning. I'm driving out to western New Jersey right now. I am. And I realize I want to talk to you, or talk to somebody, talk to myself, really. Talk to myself about conservative radio hosts, about why Chief Justice John Roberts voted for Obamacare. And I also want to read something from the New York Times and Jane Brody this morning that was just so full of hopefulness that she should be made a saint. Jane Brody should. You know, as regarding these conservative religious radio hosts, the one thing they seem to have in common is they're white and they're fat. Of course, most men who are white are fat once they get over 50. Most men, period, I guess. But these guys all have this southern sort of draw, and they're fat, and they just have no tolerance whatsoever for anything that speaks of being liberal. Oh, liberal. I mean, they just have no tolerance for anything that's liberal. It's just a poisonous word to them. And I do believe that they're intimidated by the fact that they think that liberals all graduated from Bard College and nowhere else, and that their minds are in there. Well, I'm not going to say where their minds are, but you know what I mean. And that they smoke grass, do drugs, and just want some kind of flaky, idealistic world where everybody gets everything. Like communism. I think they really relate liberalism to communism. I don't think they can tell the difference. And frankly, communism, in its plan, was a very idealistically good idea that the state should be for everyone. Communism does take away individual initiative, as shown by the success of all the communist countries. None of them have, except China, has sort of prospered. But China's got a lot of problems. I mean, they're very repressive over there. And I don't think the United States is that repressive of its citizens. I mean, you don't hear about it, you don't see it. We're repressive of other people's citizens. That's for sure. But I don't think we are, in general, so repressive to our own as the Chinese seem to be to dissidents. Oh, it's true. I mean, look, we can put anything on the internet we want about anybody, and we do. And the internet's never shut off over here in the United States, and that's a big deal. In China and Iran and places like that, there's an enormous amount of internet. I can't even think of that ugly word. It's called censorship. Internet censorship. Okay, what's that have to do with big fat liberals like Fred Thompson? Okay, so what's that have to do with big fat conservatives like Fred Thompson? Fred Thompson, who's talking about John Roberts being on the right side of the Lord with when voting on gay marriage and when that comes up, and immigration and everything else, being on the right side of the Lord. Now there is what I'm talking about, separation of church and state. Let's keep the Lord out of politics, because not all of us believe that the Lord is running everything. I mean, there are some people in this country, very fine people, I must add, although I'm sure the conservatives would fight me tooth and nail on that one, who don't necessarily think the Lord is in charge. You know, I just don't believe that they all believe this. And now I know this conservative bunch, the conservative religious bunch, have no tolerance. And I grew up in that atmosphere, although Catholics are not the same as your Southern religious conservatives, although I don't think like Rush Limbaugh is particularly Southern, so I think that's a slur on Southern people. And I know there's plenty of Southern people who are liberal. By liberal, you know what I mean by liberal. I'm not explaining it to anybody anymore. I did not go to Bard College. Mine was even worse. I went to music schools. I went to Peabody. I went to Berklee School of Music, and I went to the Advanced School of Contemporary Music in Toronto. I went there primarily because of the name and that Ray Brown was teaching there, but that's another story altogether. But I'm out of words to discuss my disgust with the tone and anger of conservative religious radio hosts who drive me batty.